Okay, yes. So I have not vlogged, or I don't even, nothing has happened to me that's worth vlogging about, except that it has, because I've started reading again. Um, and it's been so long since I've done this, so it really does feel like I just wanted to talk about the books that I realized that I don't have my other one, but oh, I'm not wearing pants. This is so annoying. Okay, yes, now we've, sorry. Okay, um, so I found YouTube channels that are like, um, I found BookTube. I found the world of like YouTubers who have channels dedicated to sharing, the recent books that they've read and, their personal favorites and what their thoughts are on it without spoiling it, which is, I think, so I'd like to be one of those people who are like, oh, I don't care about spoilers. Like, just tell me, because I feel like they just naturally we think of that person as being a very relaxed, easygoing person, whereas like people who hate spoilers are just like very they care. They care about the way in which they learn about certain things, which I never thought I was one of those people, because I don't think I've ever cared about a particular piece of literature or a movie or anything so much that like, anyways, that's changing. So now I'm one of those people who definitely care. Like, I was even upset that the one of the YouTubers sort of dropped a name of a location of like the countryside, like this super obscure detail, and I was still upset. But like I paused it immediately. I was like, I saved the video for later, so I didn't have to, so I could still watch it later where I left off. But yeah, I just thought I'd talk about the books. So this is truly a masterpiece. I think so. I've read all of Jane Austen when I was a kid. I've read all of the Bronte sisters. Um, okay, I think the diary one got me. I know that no, it's not a famous one, but that one was my favorite. I just have such good memories of it. I guess the only one I haven't was Wuthering Heights, because someone told me, like one of my teachers told me to save it for when I was older. So I was like, okay. And as interesting as I thought it was, and I think the movie sort of ruined it for me, because then I actually have a picture of the people, and I get it confused with Pirates of the Caribbean, because Keira Knightley's in a lot of things, and I just now it's now I think that there's pirates, and it's confusing. But I don't know where I was. Oh, classics. So I think after that whole bit, I was like, I guess we do some. I haven't read classics on my own. They've always been in the context of school. Like, other than Jane Austen, they've always been in the context of school. Um, but now, Mr. Leo Tolstoy here is has entered my life. And I am not even that far. I'm only like 100. I'm 100 pages in, but the whole thing's like 1,300 pages. But I love it. I don't. It's not usually my kind of book, because I feel like these fluffy parties and characters and whatever. I don't know that there's depth to them, and I think that the problems and the messages that they're trying to communicate um, are beautiful, but they're just not really that relevant to my life, or I don't really know. I just don't really feel anything. But I don't know. I guess I'm just a very stoic person. Like, I realized this because I was talking to someone about yeah, it was a book for class, and I realized that I don't feel like, knowing that the this is just the brainchild of an author changes things a little bit for me. Like, I think the one thing about Joan Didion that hits me really hard is that the stories are real as fuck. Like, they've actually happened. Like, listening to the story of the dentist who died, and then his wife being put in jail, and it was like a suicidal dentist, and but it wasn't really clear how he died, and just that whole little brief, just that little brief short story in Slouching Towards Bethlehem. Oh, she didn't even, I mean, she did have to some extent set up a certain narrative and like her own take on the characters and what their demeanor is like, and so that I think is fictional in that way. But I mean, I think that there's a lot to be said for fiction. That this isn't what I mean at all. I just think that there's a higher bar for fiction. Like, it needs to be really written well for me to appreciate fiction. Whereas with nonfiction, as soon as I know it's a real story, I'm like, it already hurts, But yeah, so the one thing that I'm a little bit, such a small detail, but so I read it like this, like I'll open it and I'll palm it like this and just hold it like that. But now the title has worn out. Like now it's just one day. It doesn't even. So now I have to think of another way to hold the book when I'm reading. I don't know. But yeah, I also don't generally like, I think this book has changed so much for me. Like, I now moved Oscar Wilde up on my list. I moved Farewell to Arms up my list, which I've tried reading the first, like, 20 pages of that. Oh, God. And I know that, so this was, the reason I wanted to do Farewell to Arms is because it's Joan Didion's just #1 novel. She had so much to say about the way Hemingway wrote sentences and the way he spoke, the way he, like would narrate all of these things. And then I'm like, okay, I'm so excited. I'm in the bookstore. And I'm like, oh. I think I was just, the weather was weird that day, maybe. I will try again. But oh my God, it was just 10 pages of this guy driving up a mountain, driving down a mountain, lots of dirt, lots of dust, driving around the mountain, driving backwards, driving, it was, I mean, okay, maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And I think this is also the thing with war novels. I feel like I've read so many of them that I don't know. They're all beautiful. Because they're written by people who've gone through like just the most graphic parts of society that we don't see, and that the average civilian doesn't reckon with. But to have to read through another one, I don't think I need to do that to myself. But I am so excited for Tolstoy because, so I've only read this. If for people who don't know, I finished part 1 of volume 1, and it's entirely peaceful. Like part 1 ends with one of the main characters going off to war. But either way, I'm pretty excited. So I view sort of this work as, a combination of Leo Tolstoy and his wife, Sophia Tolstoy. And I just feel like little bits and pieces, like the flair that we all attribute to Leo Tolstoy, comes from Sophia Tolstoy. And sort of the more brusque and factual details are from Leo. Maybe I'm just biased. I don't know. But either way, I am reading this with the fact in mind that the Tolstoy clan, or I guess just the couple, together made this happen. Even though only Leo's name is on the book. But yeah, there's this book. And I've made it through 100 pages in like 2 days, which I'm a slow ass reader, so I just want to give myself a tap on the back for this, because I'm a really slow reader. So, but I think, I forgot to mention, how did I forget it? The translator is also truly a work of art. He's really quite something. Because I recognize that this is a translation. Because a lot of the jokes have to be explained. Like, you have to go in the footnotes to find, oh, it's supposed to be a pun in Russian. Um, but the way Anthony Briggs writes, I mean, he just, this is like an American novel. I mean, it's about Russia. It's in Russia. Everything's Russian. But the English of it, I am happy with. I am so happy with this translation. I, I've had to watch movies with subtitles. I've been trying to like read and watch more international stuff because I feel like I don't know anything about the world, and I would like to change that. Actually, it's not about knowing anything about the world. I don't know why I'm doing. I don't know why I do anything anymore. But anyways, I will check in a couple of weeks to. Oh, I forgot. So I am also, while reading War and Peace, I'm keeping. This is so dumb. Okay, I'm gonna show, because now I brought it up. It's too late. I'm keeping like. I was gonna keep like so the first idea I was gonna do was I was scared I would stop or fizzle out with school. So I was just gonna draw a little box every day or color it in when I finished every day. And so that way I can keep track and then look at all the boxes that I do have and the ones, and like don't break the chain, you know. But then it turned into, well, why don't I give it a color of what the reading sort of like felt like to me, and then maybe put in like a little note. And so I ended up doing that, but now I'm doing it like multiple times a day. Like after every little scene, I'm drawing a little box. But it looks something like this. And so that first one, so I have like different layers so you can show the text. So the first one says day 1, Anna's gathering. That was actually day 1. That's truly. I've stopped numbering the days. But like shown all together, they overlap. I'll show all of them because they overlap like this. Yeah. So I'll just read them all, I guess. Or maybe I won't read them. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I guess this is like a more advanced form of collecting the data on my own personal thoughts. Okay, the margins in this book are too small to annotate, so I've just been doing this. And I think I understand the feeling of the colors. It's so crazy that I can now do this. Yeah, day 2, Andre's marriage, Andre's marriage, and then views on women. It's a dark, deep red. Because I think they're very, very real, and I think there's something that Tolstoy can relate to. But I also think it's really tragic, so. Day 3, Rostov's namesake day, Boris and Nikolai's friendship, and dolls with cracked skulls. Oh, so that's Natasha's doll. So yeah, day 3 I think was the celebration at the Rostov's family thing, estate or whatever, and we kind of get a glimpse into Nikolai Rostov and Boris, who's the son of Anna, forgot her last name, but the one who's like everybody's aunt, and it's like a nice yellow, because I think it was just like a very warm day. The next one is Countess and Anna M. Talk real friends. End of an evening, and it's just a light purple. And then the gray one is Vasily, Krill, Anna, state of affairs, looming death, desperation, appeal, artifice, incentive. And I think that's when the Count Kirill is dying, and everyone is concerned with his money, really. And we just sort of see characters who we previously saw at Anna's gathering, all sort of concerned with the semblance of propriety, right? And image. And then suddenly, when there's profit to be had, everything goes out the window. I mean, it's things become physical, things become verbal, things become that are unsaid, that are very much felt, and yeah. Anyways, so then the next one I have Boris and Pierre, new friends, and that's a nice bright green. And then I have Rostov's playing Boston, which is like a card game similar to Bridge, apparently. And I colored that red because the suits. Sonia blushing to the tips of her hair. Oh, that was such a beautiful quote. I think Sonia is nervous. Oh, fuck. So there's apparently like 600 characters in this novel, so I'm sorry I cut off. But yes, there is this one quote of Sonia who, like, upon seeing Nikolai talk to Julie, I think Tolstoy wrote, she was blushing to the tips of her hair. And I just, oh, what a beautiful line. Like, to just, because hair is and skin in that boundary and crossing that boundary. Oh, I just thought it was so beautiful. Okay, next, Count Kirill, Buzakov's death, and meeting Nikolai Bolkonsky. There's two Nikolais. Gotta be careful here. And that's a dark brown. I don't know why, but it just felt like brown, kind of sad. It was sort of like an apathetic death, too, because I don't feel like anyone actually cared about him, or none of the characters that we're exposed to really felt strongly about him. And even the one who would, Pierre, is fundamentally, as a person, incapable of expressing that. So, yeah. That gets a drab sort of brown. Oh, the next one I really like. So, Maria, I kept reading it as Maria, and I like it better as Maria. I know it's supposed to be Maria, but it's spelled Marya. That's Marya. Oh gosh, I'm Americanizing everything. I'm pretty sure it's just Maria. But Maria Bolkonsky and Julie's friendship in letters gets a bright purple. I think, it's supposed to be blue. Like, it's supposed to be a deep Prussian blue. I think there was this one quote about how they used to spend summers on a blue sofa, and they really missed that. And I felt that sofa needed to be a deep, bright blue, because their friendship in letters is just, it's so heartwarming. And I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Oh fuck, this last one's not showing. Oh, my iPad's broken, that's why. Bald Hills Countryside, Andrei Bolkonsky leaves for war, end of part 1. So yeah. And then I wanted to also share this other book that I started. It's not, the writing is so-so. So I had high expectations for this book, and I think anyone who knows me will know why. It's titled The Traveling Cat Chronicles, and it's also a translation from Hiro Arikawa, or the author originally is Hiro Arikawa, and I think it's translated to English, and it's supposed to be written from the perspective of a cat, and I think the translation feels lazy. I don't know whether it's the translation or the writing. It's supposed to be like a cutesy novel. I'm only 60 pages in. There's 200 pages. I'm hooked, but it's not a book I'll be revisiting. It's definitely a book I think I'll be gifting to other people once I finish. I think it's just, I can see other people enjoying this a lot more than I would. And yeah, it's so bad. So in War and Peace, there's like 600 characters, right? And I can actually keep up. Like, so far I think I've met 15 or so, and some have redundant names, and so many have redundant names, and then each person also gets different nicknames, and it's a mess. And Tolstoy really likes to use prince, princess, but they're all princes and they're all princesses. So you're just like, even when he does refer to something other than he or she, it's still just like, who the fuck are you talking about? And you have to go back and you have to figure it out. But I've been doing a pretty good job. I'm proud of myself because the booktuber said it took him until page 2, like 200 pages, to stop flipping back to the characters page, and I was able to do that within like 60 pages. So I'm happy. But holy shit. There's only 2 boys in this book. There's only 2 human boys in this book, and like 2 cats so far. And for the life of me, I can't keep them straight. I think I just read too fast in the beginning. Or like, not read too fast, but I didn't bother. I was just like, okay, there's one boy and there's another boy, and they both have these experiences, and there's this one and that one. I can sort of attach who is feeling what. But then now I'm just like, wait, who is who? Because it's like one has a cat now, and they're like going back in time as well. So it's like, oh, and I can't, and there's only 2 people, and I just got overconfident that I could do it, because after War and Peace, I was like, oh, fuck, 2 characters, I can totally do this. But, apparently I can't. Yes, I'm excited. I think it just started out too happy. Even when they write about death, it was so, like, I don't want to say childish. It was just sort of just, it's how society expects you to speak about death and to think about death. And so I typically go for the ones that make me feel more understood as a human being. But I don't think this book is trying to do, I think it's going for something completely different, and I'm excited to see where it'll take me. I know I'm going to be sad. I can already feel it. Every time there's a fucking animal that takes, center stage of a book or a novel or a movie, oh, you just know something's gonna happen to it. I don't even want to. Ugh. Okay, anyways. And the one I'm starting tonight, so we actually read Ada Limon. Ada Limon? Ada. I like Ada, but I don't think that's how you say it. The first time I read Limon was in the poetry class I'm in right now, and I think I liked it. It was in the first week. I can't remember. But first of all, this cover is just so beautiful, and the title too, "Bright Dead Things." I don't typically I don't typically find abstract watercolor impressive. Like, I'm just kind of like, okay, someone just, how hard, like, yeah, I don't know, you do it again and again, and until something looks good, and the probability that you get something that doesn't look good after 500 tries is absolutely, it's so tiny. So I'm not usually that impressed, but I think this actually made me feel something. Like, I don't, maybe I'm alone in this, I don't know, but it did make me feel something. And Bright Dead Things, I feel like, speaks to me on a much deeper level. I don't know if I can find the line that that caught my eye in the bookstore. Okay, yeah, I'll read this little snippet. We'll live forever. Every moon will be a moon of surrender and lemon seeds. You there, standing up in the crowd. I'm not proud. The stove can't boast of the meal. All this to say, consider this, with your combination of firefly and train whistle. Consider this, with your maze and steel. I want to be the rough clothes you can't sleep in. The last stanza. Oof. But I think I feel like she's a person I would like in real life. And that's why I got this book. I mean, yeah. I feel like she's just a very natural writer. Yeah, I don't think it'll be one of my favorites, but I do think it'll be beautiful, and 99% is the cover. Fucking no fucking water weird ass orange brown thing has done this to me, and oh, I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Okay, I think that's all for this week, this month. Last month, which I didn't really bother filming, which I talked to myself a lot about after I read it, but I just wasn't filming myself in the bathtub or wherever I was doing all of this monologuing. But it was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, and that sort of kickstarted this whole book craze. I also wanted to read Paradise by her next. But I just want to say, he's deserving of a lip bite. I just saw myself do that. I didn't even know I was doing it. But, oh, my lipstick matches my bookmark. Totally unintentional. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. I think that it's the book that'll bring me back into society. Because I think for so long, I've been selective. I guess I've been, like, subconsciously selecting writers that live with me in my state of disillusionment and of dissociation. And I think this is a book to remind me of just, like, the plain and simple joys and a certain kind of simplicity. And so I'm just excited. Okay, yeah, I don't want to. This is starting to feel weird, so I'm gonna. Yes, okay. I will see myself. I guess later. But yes, page 100. You made it through the first part. Congratulations.